Stefan informs Ava about Clyde's most recent request. Eva and Harris made plans for the next night at the bistro. Ava appeared nervous, according to Harris. Ava mumbled that she needed things to be perfect for the upcoming night. Stefan appeared as Harris was about to go for work. Harris wished Stefan luck with the restaurant's relaunch. After Harris left, Stefan revealed that Clyde intended to utilise the bistro to sell drugs as well as a front for money laundering. Stefan informed Clyde that if he and Ava would not follow orders, Clyde would kill Gabby and Trip. Frustrated, Stefan yelled that he intended to permanently eliminate Clyde. Stefan said something that reminded Ava of Jake. Ava acknowledged that she missed Jake and that he was the closest thing she'd had to a real relationship. Stefan addressed Harris, and he told Ava that dating a cop was perilous. Given the criminal and Ava stated that Jake had been courteous and generous. Clyde was brought up again in the debate. When Clyde ordered narcotics to be moved out of the bistro, Ava questioned whether he was just messing with Stefan. Just then, a man in a black coat and matching beanie hat emerged, carrying packaged cases of tomatoes. Photo courtesy of Clyde Weston. "You want him in the back, or what?" asked the man. Stefan's expression was enraged. Stephanie was drunk from drinking alone at the Brady pub. Jada appeared and informed Stephanie of her plans to live with Rafe. Stephanie insisted on Jada joining her for cocktails. Around after Everett discovered Stephanie said that she was done with Chad and Alex in the same year. Stephanie reasoned that Everett's remark was understandable, considering that he had been in a coma following the tragedy. Jada mentioned her ex, but she only gave Stephanie a few details about him. Stephanie requested a photograph of Jada's ex. Jada looked at the photo of herself with the man who resembled Everett. Harris appeared as Jada was about to show Stephanie the photo. Stephanie and Jada extended an invitation to Harris to join them for a drink. As Stephanie began to flirt with Harris, he drew up a chair and sipped a beer. Harris rose up to go to his room above the pub, but Stephanie and Jada mocked him that he couldn't. Harris shrugged and continued to drink with Jada and Stephanie. As the newspaper's owner, Chad, according to Everett, had an ulterior motivation for purchasing the publication. Chad informed Everett that Stephanie had moved out. Everett stated he was not sorry. Chad and Everett traded jabs before Chad announced his intention to run The Spectator as a tribute to Abigail. Everett expressed his desire for the paper to be the best it could be. Everett believed that he and Chad might find common ground and collaborate civilly. Chad softened his tone slightly, remarking that he and Everett wouldn't be the first turbulent working relationship in a newsroom. Everett stated that he had admired Abigail's work. Chad received a phone call informing him that Thomas did not have enough money for lunch. After the call, Chad mentioned that Stephanie had taken care of Thomas and Charlotte's lunches. When Everett stated that he had to return to work, Chad joked that he and Stephanie were meant to be together. Everett scoffed, claiming that if it hadn't been for Everett's injury, Chad and Stephanie would never have met. Chad was underwhelmed. Brady and Tate came into Teresa, a park, who was attempting to stuff a trash bag into a rubbish bin. The bag held the tracksuit and hat that Teresa had worn when she assisted in the kidnapping of Victoria. Teresa was combative and defensive. Alex appeared and accused Brady of being a jerk. When Tate asked if they may leave, Brady agreed. Brady raged about the racer to Tate at Horton Town Square, who appeared uninterested. Tate stated that he did not want to return to boarding school and would rather stay in Salem. Brady was taken aback by Tate's admission. Tate stated that he liked Holly, but she seemed uninterested in him. Brady presented Tate with his gold card. "I want you to have fun. On me," Brady remarked, much to Tate's amazement. Tate praised Brady for his kindness. Brady advised Tate to have fun with Holly and then departed. Tate then called Holly to invite her out on a date. Alex and Theresa decorated a Christmas tree they had purchased at their flat. They had sex under the tree after that. Stephanie dates Harris Jake haunts Eva Chad's father crisis days. Of Our Lives reports that Stefan DeMera yelled at Clyde Weston over the phone, but Clyde threatened to go nuclear if Stefan didn't cooperate. At the bistro, Ava Vitale did her best to get rid of Harris Michaels before the reopening, but he could tell she was apprehensive. Raising the stakes for Ava Stefan interrupted Wednesday's day show. Stefan didn't think they had an option, despite Ava's protests. Stefan, on the other hand, stated unequivocally that he intended to permanently remove Clyde Ava, was reminded of Jake DeMera when Stefan made a comment about the underbelly of crime. Ava had forgotten about Jake and unintentionally addressed Stefan as his brother during the conversation. Stefan brought up Ava's connection with Harris, acting as if it was a bad idea because he was a cop, but she didn't want to lecture on her love life. Stefan wasn't as kind as Jake, but Stefan thought that was a good thing given they were going up against Clyde. Ava assumed Clyde was lying about taking product out, but the man swore that this was a delivery from Clyde. Chad DeMuro told Everett Lynch at The Spectator that he aimed to be a hands-on boss who could be harsh if necessary. Everett expected Chad to try to convince him to quit the position and was doubtful of Chad's expertise of how to run a newspaper. There was also chatter about Stephanie Johnson moving out, so Everett apologised before confessing he wasn't. Chad received a call from an Everett Thomas DeMera, who didn't have any snack money because it was meant to be set up through his school account. Chad admitted to Everett after Thomas hung up that Stephanie courteous at work. Everett highlighted how much he appreciated Abigail DeMera's articles and how he once wrote her a fan letter as they tried to establish common ground. Chad seemed willing to tolerate each other, but he warned Everett that he'd be removing his desk and advised him to relocate his belongings. As Chad walked away, he addressed Everett as champ and strutted out. Stephanie and Jada Hunter enjoyed Someday drinking at the pub on Day's episode while discussing their troubled former romances. Stephanie realised she didn't know anything about Jada's ex-husband, which elicited some laughter. Jada was about to show Stephanie a picture when Harris interrupted. Jada was getting tipsy and having a good time, but she wasn't quite at Stephanie's level. Despite Jada's suggestion that Stephanie calm down, Stephanie snatched Jada's drink and prepared to guzzle it next. On Wednesday's Duel episode, Teresa Donovan struggled to stuff her kidnapper hoodie into the trash can while in the park. When Brady Black and Tape Black appeared, Teresa pretended to have dropped her phone in the can with her coffee cup and was recovering it. Brady accepted that explanation and lamented the Reese's failure to provide Tate's immunisation records. Brady didn't remember Tate's doctor's name, but he needed the necessary paperwork if they were going to re-enroll Tate. Brady had to work Alex Kyriakis came to Reese's defence and later accompanied him to a Christmas tree farm. When they went home, Alex didn't have the customary holiday decorations, but Teresa helped him improvise while they talked about their childhood memories and being outsiders in their families. Teresa kissed him to stop him up and got him to make love to her on the floor, after Alex corrected himself about who his father was and named Justin Kyriakis, Wally Kurth by his real name. Tate spoke to his father about Brady slandering Teresa in the town square and got him to pledge not to mention her again. Tate reasoned that Teresa didn't want him to return to boarding school and that he didn't want to attend. That Holly agreed to a date but had been blowing him off. Brady intimated that they could repair it and handed over his gold card so Tate could enjoy himself with Holly. Tate thanked Brady enthusiastically and left Holly a phone regarding the gold card, wondering whether she was available for that date tonight.